I thought to myself that, maybe this isn't for me when I would lose, but it wasn't like a real belief. I kept trading out of fear. It wasn't like me thinking that it's not going to work out. It has to work out. Couldn't imagine a reality where it doesn't work.
I think every trader's on their own journey. And when you start looking elsewhere, I think that's where the mistakes start happening and you just get led astray, because everyone's got their own destination that we're going to reach eventually as long as we keep going. But if you try to take someone else's path, it's going to lead to a different destination that wasn't suited for you.
I think I lost a lot of friends doing this trading stuff. You're promoting a lifestyle and then they don't realize that you're actually working hard for it. So they're in a different thinking system and you're showing like you can make money online and you don't need a job and you want more freedom. So I think I lost a lot of friends.
What is you guys' biggest payout ever?
With you guys, for me, 20K. I really just tested out a lot of firms. And I actually never wanted to look back at personal accounts because just for me, just wanting to go full time, I just needed those prop firms to work.
4 or 5 months of trading prop firms after my first payout, I hit 250k in payouts. It all changed after those first few payouts that I got. I lose a lot, but I win big.
And we are live. Hey traders, welcome back to another episode of the Bright Funded Traders Roundtable podcast, where we cut through the noise and talk to the people who are actually doing it. I'm Eduardo, the host for today's show, and in this episode, I'm joined by 2 very respected traders within the space. We're going to be diving into what it really takes to thrive within the prop firm space, revealing the truth, the grind, and the reality behind the payouts. So without further ado, gents, it would be great if you could just give a brief introduction about yourself. Just doesn't have to be too long, just maybe a bit about yourself, how long you've been trading. And then we could just dive into it more into the episode. So yeah, feel free to go through.
Perfect. Thank you for having me again. So it's great to be here. So I'm Jordy. For the people who don't know me, been trading for 6 years, mostly prop firms, combination of Forex and crypto. And then of course also with Bright Funded and some other prop firms. So that's basically the short version of that.
Nice. Welcome back, Jordy, because I know you were on our episode a few months ago actually, and it was a great show. So yeah, welcome back. And Arashs, just a brief introduction about yourself.
Yeah, so Arashs, or Zamco, as people know me. I've been trading for 7 years now, and I got my first ever payout a year ago in April, and since then I've done almost 400,000 in payouts from prop firms.
Monster.
6 years before, whilst I was trading, unprofitable for those 6 years, and then suddenly over 400,000 in payouts. Crazy.
Wow. So you went, okay, straight in. I just want to go in with a question. So you went from 6 years no profitability, and then just 400k in 1 year. That is crazy. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So we're definitely going to touch in on that. Sure. I think it would be great to dive straight in, to be honest. So I think it'll actually be good to take a little step back to discuss maybe your journey before trading. So just want to open the floor. What were you guys doing before trading? Like, were you just studying, just a normal job? Just like, what were you doing?
For me, I was just working catering. Just working like 50, 60 hours a week. Always been doing that, working in star restaurants, hotels, stuff like that. And then made the switch, wanting more freedom, doing what I like, traveling, stuff like that, spending time how I want it. And then I started with drop shipping, stuff like that, doing YouTube. And then trading was the real thing that really stuck with me. And I think if you find that passion, I think that's important to keep it, especially in trading, if you want to stay motivated and you don't really like it or you're just doing it for the money. But it's something that I really like, just sitting behind the computer, you versus you. And that's how I started trading whilst having my catering job.
Cool. I wonder, how were you balancing that? Well, it must have been difficult because if you were, I'm guessing catering would have been hands-on and in person. And if you're doing 50 to 60 hours a week, when would you get the time to do the trading?
It's really crazy because I loved being behind the charts and I couldn't be. So I really had to be a swing trader. So that's why I also still swing trade, because I really had to because of my job. And I remember in my first job, I had a lot of time. So I was just doing events and stuff like that. So there were breaks. But then when I was waiting, it was really tough, man. It was just taking breaks, going to the toilet, checking trades. I saw an alert, but I couldn't go to the toilet because there's like a table ready. And then I just knew, well, usually you have some time to go break even. But like, it was like, I still remember that one restaurant that was like 1 meter toilet, something like that. And I had to go there, check my alerts, change a trade or take profit or whatever, which is not so fun.
I can imagine.
But it also built some discipline to not check your trade. So that was a great thing, that I wasn't constantly checking. And so psychology was a bit easier back then. Like when you start going full time and you're behind the charts all day, I really had to learn some psychology lessons because now I was behind the buttons all day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine that would be tricky, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Zamco, what about you? What were you up to before trading?
Before trading, I was in college. So I started trading when I was 17. Well, not really started trading. I got introduced to trading through a friend. He referred me to a company called IML, which is like a pyramid scheme company. Maybe you've heard of it. And so I went to one of their events, and that kind of introduced me to what trading is. And from there, I figured quite quickly, this is nonsense. This isn't actually going to teach me this skill. But I never knew about trading back then. But that's kind of what got me the foot into it. It's like, wow, this trading thing's a real thing. And then when I turned 18, I opened my own brokerage account with IC Markets. I started trading my own firm, my own funds for 6 years. For 6 years, I lost probably over like 80, 90K of my own money. No, sorry, 60 to 80K of my own money, all throughout college and university. So I was going to university. I did a physiotherapy degree. And when I was doing those placements, it feels horrible. Like, I was looking at the amount of work that I'm doing and then thinking, this is what physiotherapists get paid. But this is the work they do. It didn't sit right with me. I hated every single day of it. And obviously, I'm still trading whilst, handling patients. I'm in a trade. I've got a patient with me. I quickly go to the toilet. Again, check the trade.
Yeah.
So it was hectic. But all of this time, I'm unprofitable. And then finally, after like 5 years, I was trading my own capital and then starting prop firms. And then I think a year or two into prop firms, I was losing lots of accounts, never hit a payout. And then last year, April, finally hit that payout for the first time. And then here we go, 400K almost after a year.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's actually interesting that you were doing physiotherapy. I was actually doing a similar thing at university, and I'm guessing when you got to the end of your degree, you were thinking there's no chance I'm going to carry on with this. This is not, because the income that you can earn from it in comparison to the hour you'd work is just,
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it, and it's very tricky. I think in this day and age, it's like you need to develop a skill that you can earn money via your laptop without the need of relying on a manager or someone else. So I think, you definitely hit the nail on the head. Interesting. I want to know, so you said your friend, does he still trade, the one that introduced you
He
to?
does, yeah.
He does still trade?
He still trades. He trades with prop firms and he's got a few payouts.
Okay,
so
he's profitable, yeah?
Yeah, he's still trading prop
Okay,
firms,
cool.
yeah.
And did he ever apologize for introducing you to you?
No,
No?
No. I met him literally at a wedding, I think, a few months ago, and like he saw my social media and stuff. He was like, "Bro, congrats! You're doing really well." And we were just kind of just exchanging like information in terms of like he was introducing me to like Darwin X. He's like, "You can do this." But yeah, it was nice catching up with him. We are both trading prop firms, and we're both happy that each other's still going after those 7 years. That was another thing. He was talking about the fact that I'm still going after 7 years. He's like, "Bro, look, after 7 years, we're still doing it. It's crazy."
Yeah.
Because most people would have given up. Actually, many did, but we're still going.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a journey. Trading. When I first started trading, which was when I first ever got into it, about 3 years ago. Again, I think I had the wrong approach to it, where I thought it's gonna be a lot quicker than it is. So when you were first starting out, Jordy, did you think success would come quicker than it did?
Oh, and I made so many mistakes in believing that. Oh my God. I think you lost a bit more than me, but I lost a lot of money. I think my first time I went into Bitcoin, so crypto was my start. Just investing it, just cashing out real quick, losing a lot of money, just trying stuff. I just wanted to try a lot of stuff, but I was using a lot of money because I thought everybody's making money in here. I need to make it as well. And that gave me some important lessons about risk and about psychology as well, of course. But I think for my journey personally, it was losing money in the beginning because you just think you can make a lot of money real quick, and it's not like that. I also was in a MLM, but it was like a small version of that. And I actually had the opportunity to go to Dubai for 3 months with them, and then everything fell. I just noticed how they worked. They don't really trade. They're just just selling a fake dream. And that's when I kind of created my own, that's my origin story, my villain story or something.
Yeah.
Where I just realized, well, if I'm going to do this and I'm going to pursue trading, I'm going to be transparent, I'm going to do everything correct. I just want to focus on building this skill. I don't want to be selling to everybody. I just want to make trading work. And then if I think coaching or selling something is fun, well, let's do that, but on a good way. And but in the beginning, of course, you want to make money real quick. And still to this day, there's new opportunities like meme coins and everything in crypto and AI happening. And I'm trying to be cautious with that. Just study it first and don't just jump in because it looks, and social media is there. And everybody thinks we see all these payouts like with Zamco as well. And you think like, you just don't see Zamco 6 years ago. You see Zamco now, and people think like he's making. Also for me, when I just met him and I was like, this guy, he just made 150K this month, something like that, right? And I'm like, next month I'm going to do that as well. I know how trading works. I'm going to do that as well. But that's a big issue that you're not focusing on yourself and just external factors.
Yeah, that's a really great point. I think every trader's on their own journey. And when you start looking elsewhere, I think that's where the mistakes start happening and you just get led astray because someone has success, or like everyone's got their own destination that we're going to reach eventually as long as we keep going. But if you try to take someone else's path, it's going to lead to a different destination that wasn't suited for you. So you definitely have to like stay on the ball. And it's definitely tricky because with social media, you've seen it. There's so many people. You see them on Twitter, Instagram, everything.
Everybody wants shortcuts, you know?
Exactly.
And that's why a lot of people fail. They try the shortcuts and they're like, oh, there's no shortcuts. And that's why so few people actually succeed because it's the people who actually do the hard work and tried the shortcuts, realized I have to do the hard work, and those people actually make it. Yeah.
Zamco, did you try taking any shortcuts when you first started out?
I tried like EA bots to make like, you know, they just trade for you. Didn't work. No. I've tried account flipping, trying to flip £100 into something big. Yeah. I flipped it to, I think, 25K. And
that is very good.
I lost it all in one day.
How?
Well, when I was at 25K, I was slapping on huge like positions on gold, and then I just got taken out, and I lost all of it. I think I couldn't eat for like 4 or 5 days. Literally, no, like, seriously, you feel that inside, or I cried to get to myself to bed. Horrible days.
Oh my god!
Like this was back when I'm in university.
So that meant even more.
It meant a lot of money because I was, didn't have a job or anything, just university, and having 25,000, I could have had that.
You would have been balling.
Exactly. But losing it all, it was very, very painful. So again, these are like little shortcuts trying to flip accounts, but not actually try to trade, strategically or anything. So I've tried a few of my little shortcuts.
Yeah.
Most of them haven't worked.
So when you lost the 25K, did you tell friends and family, or did you keep it to yourself until a few months later when you had finally digested it?
I kept it away from my family.
Yeah.
I told my friends because they were kind of on the journey with me whilst I was flipping the account. I'm like, bro, look, it's up 12K now and whatever. Yeah. But they did see me lose it all, and they're like, what are you doing? Like, why are you slapping on these huge lots? But I guess that's where the psychology kind of takes over.
And it's part of the journey, again, because you took your learnings from it. So it's all good now, definitely. Cool. I wanted to ask you, gents. So when you actually first started trading, did you tell your family and friends that this is something you were delving into? I know, Zamco, you just mentioned you did. Jordy, did you tell family and friends? And if so, how did they react? Because I feel like trading has like, what's the word?
Stigma?
A stigma attached to it. So when you told them, did they react a certain way?
I was kind of pushed into it, like being in this MLM. You had to be like active on socials, recruit and stuff like that. So it's also a thing I didn't really like doing that. Now I like it, like sharing the real story. But like that was the thing for me, very hard and difficult, but I had to do it and stuff like that. And then, of course, family and friends found out. But again, I have a wonderful mother, and she's so supportive. And then friends I don't know about. I think I lost a lot of friends in doing this trading stuff because a lot of people also just you're promoting a lifestyle, you're doing this, and then they don't realize that you're actually working hard for it. So you lose a lot of friends. I found out people that just don't. They work their job and they're in a different thinking system. And you're showing like you can make money online and you don't need a job and you want more freedom. So I think I lost a lot of friends in that. Well, are they really friends? That's the question. Like,
Yeah.
but a lot of people. But the good thing is, like, after all these years, these people tend to come back. They see your journey and they're like, wow, respect. And then, but in the beginning, they're like, oh, this guy is doing. But also, if we see some new people on Instagram, you see them, their first year, they're new, they're going for the shiny object syndrome. They're like showing their results big time. You see there's a lot of ego. So obviously, you're going to lose a lot of people there. But my mom, she's gonna watch this probably. So she's wonderful. She's just like, you're a smart guy. You know what you're doing. You're a hard worker, and you know what you're doing, and I'll trust you in that. So that was a really nice. I didn't have that thing where a lot of young people have their parents like, you shouldn't trade. She was just like, if you know what you're doing, it's your life.
Yeah. So the support network is really good.
Yeah.
It's definitely crucial, I think, to get you, because depending on how you first start trading, I feel like everyone gets a sense of beginner's luck, and it's after that beginner's luck when you keep going at it, and you're like, okay, maybe this is not going to work out. Because the thoughts start creeping in. I remember when I first started having those thoughts, like, oh, maybe this is not the way. Zamco, when you first started out, or like, what point did you start feeling like, you know what, trading might not be for me? Or did you even ever experience it?
I thought to myself that, oh, maybe this isn't for me. Like, when I would lose, but it wasn't like a real belief.
Okay.
I knew I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to keep going. So I guess I kept trading out of fear. It wasn't like me thinking that it's not going to work out. It has to work out. That was kind of my approach to it. It's like, no, it has to work. I couldn't imagine a reality where it doesn't work. So I was kind of very, I guess, delusional at that point. I completely convinced myself that I can do it. It's going to happen. Why not? So I guess I wasn't really in that state where I'm thinking it's not going to work out.
Okay, so are you saying you never experienced the moment where you wanted to quit?
Not wanted to quit. There was doubt, sure, but there was no moment where I wanted to quit. I'm like, no, I can't. I have to leave this. No, never that. Doubts, sure, but not quitting.
Never on the verge of that, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah, no.
Turn off the laptop, I'm finished. Jordy, did you ever experience it?
I'm just gonna be honest. I think like whenever you lose, because in the beginning it's like getting a funded account, losing it again, and now it just gets more easier whenever you lose funding. But like in the beginning, when I was like trying to go full time, and I remember going full time, quitting my job, and then like 2 months later, I had some small payouts, and then I lost the funding, and I was like, But just quitting your job, losing the funding again, it really does something with your head, psychology, and I was not going to quit because, and that's a good question I'm going to ask Zamco, because I'm very competitive. So for me, it's like I also didn't have the belief like I want to quit, but I was in my head like, damn, I got to go work again. And what if this doesn't work? And then, of course, you keep going. And for me, the reason I kept going was because I'm very competitive. If you ask anyone around me, I don't like to lose. If you play a children's game or anything, I don't want to lose. And I think a lot of successful traders, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to ask Zamco if he has the same trait. But I think a lot of traders that I know that keep going, they have this kind of competitive thing where they don't like losing. And that's something that maybe is just me. That's the reason I kept pushing. But it's interesting to maybe ask Zamco if he has the same competitive vibe.
I think I agree with you. I can be quite competitive. I hate losing.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I would actually try to, even when I'm playing games, like I'll try to hack or glitch just to win. It's like, no, I need to win. I'll try every little thing that I can. If there's a little glitch spot that I can get into, I'll do that.
I'm guessing Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Yeah.
So it's in general. So all traders, we don't like to lose.
I hate losing.
I've
got better recently, because I think we can touch on that later on. You kind of have to be a good loser to be a good trader. I don't know if you guys agree, but
the book we discussed, Tom
yeah, the best loser, isn't it? Yeah.
That's a gem.
Do you think? Would you agree?
So when you say best loser, what does that mean?
So like you have to be able to accept losing and be comfortable with losing.
Oh yeah, over time definitely I've had to learn that. But I guess that's what kind of helped with the turning point. You just have to be like, all right, whatever, it's fine, and accept it definitely.
Yeah. Do you still experience it nowadays? If you take a losing trade, you see an A+ setup and it loses. Do you still feel that? Like when I experience it, I'm like, it's like a little punch in the stomach. Do you still
Oh.
experience it, or is it now fully just
Nothing. I don't feel a single.
nothing?
When I lose trades,
Stoic.
I rate like trades can be up. Like I lost 73,000 in a single day on my Top Step account, and it was up 73k. I secured profits. The account is up now. I just had to do the trading days to get paid out, but I just tried to get that bit more, and then I lost the whole account. But even then, I didn't. It didn't mean
didn't
anything
worry
to me. I was like, all right, fine, I'll just do it again, and then. A week later, 100k. I was like, okay, fine, did it.
Were you trying to get to 100k?
Yeah,
okay.
I was trying to get to that 100k.
Okay.
And even today, like a trade hit break, I closed out a trade at break even and launched up. I was like, all right, whatever, it's fine. Like, because I'm now I'm at a point where I'm confident that I can do it. So even the losses, it doesn't really matter because I know it's next day I'll probably do it again.
Yeah.
I think once you've been in that valley of despair moment, and as trader you get there a lot of times, you have this meme that you just become dead inside. Like, oh, COVID is happening. Well, okay.
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't hurt you that much anymore. In the beginning, if you still have that feeling, it's normal. But at the end, I think I lost a lot of money. You lost a lot more. But it's the same feeling. You're just like, you're confident now that you'll get there again. But in the beginning, it's tough.
Yeah, because you don't know if you can actually get there. So
Yeah.
you need to keep going until you actually can taste it, and then
There's no proof
real.
yet.
Exactly, there's no proof, and you start thinking everything you see online is it just fake. But yeah, no, definitely. Okay, awesome. So I think to touch on when you guys first started trading, I want to know what strategy did you first fall for, or did you go for?
I was learning something called like harmonic patterns.
Okay. Don't think I'm too familiar with that.
I still don't know what it is, but like there was some indicator that might be trying to do some little like harmonic patterns, and I had no clue what that was. So then I guess my first actual one that I was looking at was just support and resistance.
Okay.
Just kind of following.
Yeah.
If price comes to support and it starts rejecting, take a buy. Like just kind of very basic.
Did you see any success with that?
No.
None.
Well, obviously there were the wins and the losses,
Yeah.
but again, it's not the strategy. Strategy that's the issue. It's just what's up there. Because a trade could win, great, but when it loses, I might not close it. I might move my stop loss, and I might just lose the account. But over time, it could have worked. Just that simple strategy. But again, it's all up. It's all up here.
And how many strategies would you say you?
Oh.
A lot. More than 10?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
More than 20?
Probably.
Damn. Okay.
Little things or constant things I've tried over the years. Support resistance, Fibonacci's, Heikin-Ashi candles.
Yeah.
Those trend lines, tapping and rejecting it. Breaks of trend lines, 61% fib with a trend line break. That needs to be like the golden ratio. Try to get that. What else?
Head and shoulders.
Head and shoulders. Oh, that was a common one. Head and shoulders. Break and retest of support.
Yeah.
In a continuation.
EMAs.
Turtle soup.
EMAs tried that too.
Yeah. Turtle soup.
Turtle soup. I don't really know what that is exactly. Like people call things random names.
I
but
think it's just a sweep.
a sweep.
It's like
that's what I trade now.
It's a bit like Wyckoff when price tries to reverse and you're trying to take that reverse. I'm not sure with all the terms. I think it's a bit like Wyckoff.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But I do trade sweeps of liquidity constantly. That's what I mainly trade now. But yeah, I've probably tried over 20 strategies.
And what strategy? You said just trading sweeps right now.
Sweeps of liquidity following market structure into areas of inefficiencies.
And what was that? Just over time, you just began to notice patterns, or did you start following anyone on like socials or anything?
I guess how I came to develop my strategy was over those 6-7 years of trading. It was a lot of trial and error. So I would kind of pick and choose good things about different things that I learned and kind of formulate what I think works. And what the stepping stone to that was when I got introduced to supply and demand, which was big pushes. It's like, okay, well, what's causing that big push? Probably some sort of institution. So then when price comes back to it, it's probably going to buy up again or whatever. So that was the underlying theory. Cool. Then it's like learning new things. Okay, now you need to follow market structure, and then you have to combine it with supply and demand. And then I started learning about imbalances. Okay. It's like, okay, it comes into this area of imbalance whilst following market structure with an impulsive push. Okay, now when it comes to there on this specific type of move, then you buy. So it was kind of just adding little things that I learned over time to formulate one strategy finally.
Okay, nice, sweet. Jordy, what about you? What was the first strategy?
The same pad, like
Yeah?
harmonic patterns, Elliott waves, support resistance.
Oh yeah,
like,
Elliott waves, yeah.
some harmonic patterns. What is it, like crabs, gartleys, bears? That's
I don't even
There's
know.
a bat as
No
well,
idea.
I think.
a bat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's a
weird
harmonic
ones.
pattern. So it's with FIPS and ABCD pattern. It's really weird stuff. And I was like studying this, and I was like, what is this? So I also wanted to know later on how many courses that you bought, or maybe you didn't, because
That's a good question, actually.
I bought a lot of courses. I think over 50K using coaches, everything combined. And I saw everything. I did a bit ICT, a bit of that, and was just trying out a lot of stuff. And of course, support resistance, golden ratio, stuff like that. And then the patterns. That was a period in my trading where I was trading head and shoulders, continuation patterns. And it's just, if you don't understand the broader context in trading, it's like you can make all these things work, whatever you trade. But if you don't understand context, and if you're just blindly trading a pattern and just rely on data, there's a lot of people who do that. But for me, it was not a great fit, just trusting that data. I just really wanted to create something. And now is the things I was looking into the last couple of like 3 years, like liquidity, supply and demand as well. Then I started out just like you learn supply and demand, and you're like, I'm gonna trade every zone right now. So that's the first part where you're like, oh, this zone is not playing out, and then you go back test it, and then you're like, you try to trade every zone, and it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And now it's just very simple. To me, it's liquidity, order flow, and just understanding these. I think that's how I try to trade. I try to really, like he said, inefficiencies, that's a great word as well. Just trying to understand where is price reaction. So I always ask, like, the most famous thing is 4 questions, like where is price coming from, where is price potentially going to, and where is price right now. And whatever you use to make that analysis doesn't really matter, but like liquidity is the most used one because of course that's a strong tool. And then I personally add to that one. I just found out like a month ago, we already do it. Like where in time are we? What session are we? What kind of week in the month are we? Like this week, okay, it's the last week of the month. We have a bank holiday, Labor Day. We have NFP, we have ADP, we have yen rates coming out. So considering where we are on time, and then having that technical analysis, knowing about the fundamentals, I think it's a great thing. And then for me, it's just understanding like liquidity sweeps, that we have a sweep, trying to find where there's still resting liquidity, and just really figure out like you have these puzzles as a kid where you connect the dots. That's something for me, that's order flow, just understanding this liquidity is still there, this one is still there, and suddenly you can just see this. If you've been trading for a while, you take out the liquidity, there's a displacement in market structure, or a market structure shift, whatever you can call it, a change of character. You can just tell, well, there's no internal liquidity left. We have a draw on liquidity at the bottom. We can just take this short because we took external liquidity, no internal. We can go to the next external point. And that's the easiest part in trading. If you master that and you just follow your plan and you just understand, well, yeah, it's obvious we swept, we're high in price. Where can price go? That point of liquidity. And then just manage accordingly. If there's eternal liquidity, just manage your position or go break even or take profits. And that's how I trade. And then, of course, taking in consideration when there's news and stuff like that, taking in consideration the DXY, the M basket, some other small confluences that can really add it up. But basis is same as I'm going to call you Zamco thing.
So it's like an omni understanding. You need to have that bigger picture. So did you mention do you swing trade or do you day trade?
Day trade.
Day trade.
Day
Okay,
trade, yeah.
so I want to ask you both. Do you think it's possible? Technically, it's possible, but what do you guys think about scalping then? With, let's say, because I know there's a lot of individuals that trade without the higher time frame in mind. Do you think that's a good way to approach the markets, or do you think eventually you actually have to learn that higher time frame analysis is key?
I think, for one, put yourselves in the position of a bank. You think they're scalping. No, they're going to be positioning themselves correctly on like the session open. Phones are ringing. They're positioning themselves in the market for the rest of the day, or even for the week or whatever. But point is, in the start of the day, they're positioning themselves. They're not scalping 1 minute. So it's kind of think of it that way. because a lot of people want to make quick little money here and there, but that's not correct. You need to know a higher time frame. That's very, very crucial.
So what time frames do you currently use then, predominantly?
Well, I start off with the weekly. I look at that first. Are we tapping into a weekly fair value gap? Drop to the daily. Is there a daily fair value gap there? Cool, mark it out, refine it to the 4 hour, drop it down to the 15 minute. And I refine it to a really, really nice tight point. And then once price comes to there, then I drop to the 1 minute time frame. I look at how price reacts to that. Now, if I get a change of character, then I look for a fair value gap on the 1 minute time frame, wait for that to be tapped. That's where I take my entry, following the higher time frame bias.
Okay. So
that's how you get the high risk to reward. Because people think, oh, if you're looking at the daily fair value gap, how are you getting high risk to reward? Well, because once price taps into that area, you keep zooming in to the change of
possible.
Yeah, entry. Exactly. So you look at your 1 minute entry, and you're basing the whole move. You're catching the tops and the bottoms, basically. That's how you get your high risk to reward.
Okay, that's interesting. So in terms of risk reward, so what would you deem as a large risk reward, and what do you typically aim for?
I don't really have an aim for a risk to reward because I think
based on structure.
Yeah, it's just based on structure. But I think a high one would be anything above 1 to 5, because most people do like 1 to 2. Like that's like the sweet spot for most people. But I think 1 to 5 is like pushing it. Like that's a bit too much. So anything above 1 to 5, I think, is a high risk to reward.
Okay.
Mine tends to be like 1 to 20 sometimes, but
1 to 20.
Yeah, that's normal.
When they come in, I can imagine that'll be. And are you risking 1% or?
It depends on the firms. So some firms, I might risk the entire drawdown that I'm allowed. So like 4.5%, just below 5% drawdown. So I risk 4.5% in one trade and try to just get a 1 to 2 to just pass or whatever.
Yeah. That's great.
And even on funded, sometimes if you're gonna allow me to risk 3%, I'll probably risk 3%. So whatever I'm allowed to risk, I tend to just risk that.
Okay.
Some firms, obviously, they cap me to 1% risk, so I have to use 1%. So whatever I'm allowed to, basically, I push it as far as I can.
As you can go. Okay. Oh, nice. Jordy, what about you?
We're a bit different.
I want to know.
I thought I was a high risk trader because I just take 2% risk sometimes, but that's actually, you're the first one I know that actually pulls it off trading that high risk. So it's really interesting. But in terms of scalping, I don't really want to say it doesn't work. But if you look at statistics, and if you definitely look, I saw an interview once with a hedge fund, and they were doing interviews, and they just don't like scalpers. Also, if you look at people who actually trade for a big fund, all those positions are probably long-term holds. They'll just look at, we're expecting the yen to be very bearish this year, and they're going to be scaling in positions, scaling out the position later on. So it depends on what your goal is as a trader. If you want to become, there's probably a lot of scalpers who make good money, but I think who do you want to be as a trader? Where do you want to end up is quite important. So do you want to end up just trading a personal account? Well, then you can scalp, of course. But also, who do you want to be? Do you want to be somebody who's constantly behind the computer, constantly being stressed with a trade? Or do you just want to take a position for that day, just check it maybe once or twice? And that's very important because there could be some people just like to be in and out of position in London Open or New York Open or stuff like that, which I totally get. But if your end goal is to trade for a fund, a big hedge fund or something like that, and you're gonna be arriving there like, this is my trading style, I just trade on the 1 minute chart, and I'm just risking 1% or 2% just in 5 minutes, they're not gonna really like that. So it depends where you want to go. If you trade prop firms, probably, and also the spreads. Like if you trade prop firm spreads are already not that good, but if you look at big funds, it's even worse. They have very wide spreads, so that's why they even hold positions for a longer time. So it depends on where you want to go, but if you're trading a personal raw spread broker account, I mean, there's probably scalpers who make it work. But I think for most people, trading swing, trading intraday, it's my preference, and I recommend it the most, but doesn't mean that scalping doesn't work, but it has a lot of red flags. I think.
Yeah, I understand that. I actually want to touch on the point. I know you mentioned previously that when you were doing catering, you couldn't be on the charts a lot. And now that you're a full-time trader, you have to develop the psychology, because it's now what you do for a living, to be on the charts, to look at the trade developing. How would you say that you analyze or micromanage your trades right now? Or because I know you swing. So once you enter a position, how often are you checking the charts to see how it's performing? Or do you just set and forget and then whatever happens, happens?
Yeah, it depends on the setup. So I either do like a London Open trade, like usually it stays for a couple of hours. Sometimes it's 1 hour and it's TP. Or stop loss, then it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So true story. But usually it's just 1 day or a couple of days, and it depends on the position. Like if it's it's the typical silver bullet setup where we just trade London Open. I would stay with the chart until I'm risk free, and then I'll just leave the chart, just let it run. It doesn't bother me anymore. But I just like it could hit my break even point real quick, because these are short trades, so I try to stay like for a half hour. And then I just, in that half hour where I'm waiting, I just prepare all the other charts that I want to trade and see if there's something. And then usually once or twice in a day, I check the charts. But it's not in my, I just know my own psychologically, my own thoughts and stuff like that. So if I'm just constantly behind the charts, so I try to go to the gym, try to go for a walk, stuff like that, because I don't want to be behind my swing positions. I know when I'm risk-free, I'll just let them play. And in the beginning, it was tough, just switching from the job. And you just want to now you have the time to look at the screen all the time. And it's just fun. I think Zamco is going to have the same thing. We like trading. So even before the podcast, we were looking at a trade of his. And it's just fun to look at a running position. That's something I have. Like, it's really fun. That's why I like swing trading. It doesn't even matter that it's going to play out. It's just fun to stay in a trade longer than a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So that's something that I had to learn as well. Like, do I take this position because it's correct, or do I just take this position because I've been sitting on my hands for a long time and I want to trade? And that's something that I had to deal with a couple of months ago. Just wanting to trade all the time, and then you take -4, -3, and then it starts.
It's a dark road. Okay, nice. Zamco, what about you? Do you ever like micromanage your trades, or set and forget?
No, I'm always on my phone.
Always.
Literally, while I was driving to my parents' house today,
Oh my God.
I was just my phone is on Trading View. I'm just watching it, or just literally whilst driving, I'm constantly keep glancing at my phone. In the shower, I face my phone up, and you know how like the shower doors, they like steam up. So intermittently, I'll wipe the screen just to quickly have a glance at my phone, see where the trade is. If I'm in a position, most likely I'm watching it the whole day, like the whole however many hours. If it's 9 hours, I'll be probably 8 hours watching it. If I'm eating, my phone's on my tray, just whilst I'm eating, looking at it. Showering, watching it. Driving, watching it. On the tube, wherever there's Wi-Fi points, watch it.
You're on the charts.
I'm always on the charts.
Wow.
I wake up in the middle of the night, just to look for a trade. I'm just glued to it. It's not because I enjoy it. I'm bored.
But if you wake up in the middle of the night, what? Are you not getting back to sleep?
Well, I may be missing out a trade in Asian session. It's like, maybe I could position myself nicely in Asian session.
Have you ever taken 1-in-1 and gone straight back to bed?
Yeah, I've done that many times. Most of the time they lose, but it's just because I have that urgency to just be in a trade.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So in terms of psychologically, because I was in a trade yesterday, and typically I just like to set and forget. I'll set a few alerts as to when I should raise my stop loss to break even. But yesterday, for some reason, I was behind it and I was watching every candle print, and I was like, this is why I don't watch my trades, because every candle, it'll look good and all of a sudden huge pullback, and I'm like, okay, let me just turn it off. Does it not impact you at all?
I think that's what's caused me to become successful in trading. Because I watch it all the time, I know how candles print. I know what it looks like. So people might see me take a trade that is against my strategy. They'll be like, why did you take that? Because we didn't get this. But it's like, well, it's how it got there. It's just, I've seen this candle before. It's just that intuition, because I've just watched 1 minute candles for years, for hours on end. So I know how they print. So I guess that if you just leave it and you don't look at it, you don't understand what the candles are doing and why they're doing that.
That's a good point, to be fair.
I used to do the same thing, by the way, but I didn't trade it. But it's a great exercise. Just take the 1 minute time frame and just look at it for 2 hours, and you really start to understand how a price moves. Yeah.
So that's why whenever some people say, why did you take the trade? The market structure hasn't happened yet. Like, it hasn't shifted. It's like, it's just looking at how that candle is behaving. It looks like it wants to do that.
You've seen this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the years, I've just seen it play out so many times. You just build that network in your head.
Yeah. Fairs. That you're the first person I've heard that wakes up and looks for a trade. I don't even think I could not. I know I couldn't do that. But okay, nice. So to touch on to the next topic, I wanted to touch on prop firms. Jordy, when did you first hear about prop firms? What did you think of prop firms when you first heard about them? And what made you delve into them and try them out eventually?
So it was when I was, actually I remember the moment very well. It was when I was in Dubai with this fake coaching thing, this pyramid scheme. And we were just trading personal accounts. And I was like, somebody told me in the group, like, did you guys try this on prop firms? Do you know about it? FTMO was the big thing back then. So that was the only one I knew. So I tried doing it by that. And then again, this guy was telling us like, you should trade 3% risk. So I bought the account and I was like, okay, I should trade 3% risk per position.
And
I took 2 losses that day and I lost. And that was a 200K account. So
no.
That was, I was like, and I had the email. And I still have traumas when I get those emails. But
it's
like you
horrible.
get the email, challenge failed or breached. And I was like, I just paid 1,000 euros for this account and it's gone.
Just like that.
And so that was tough. I was like, And then I immediately went to the guy teaching. And I was like, and he didn't even know about prop firms. So I was like, that was also a red flag, you know, because he didn't know about this. And I'm like, yeah, but you can get capital and stuff like that. There's people doing that. And then, of course, I went my own way and I did more study on the prop firms. And then I really just tested out a lot of firms and also arriving at Brightfin, but that's only years later. And I actually never wanted to look back at personal accounts because just for me, just wanting to go full time, I just needed those prop firms to work.
Access to the capital, isn't it?
Even though if they didn't, because I had a lot of prop firms and probably Zamco as well, that didn't pay out or like that prop funding that we lost just for nothing. Like just one day I had 600K with Skill Funded Trader and the Funded Trader. So I had 400 with the Funded Trader. And then suddenly also guys that I knew just getting their first funded account with them because the Funded Trader was a big name back then.
Yeah, huge.
And what happened was like just one day you wake up, like your accounts are gone. And then being full time, I've been there before, but just being there again, not having any control over the situation is really tough. And then, of course, you start to do more research, like prop firm match, like looking to reviews, payouts, how fast do they pay out, what are the rules. And that's the thing we still do today. Just look at firms that are, people are getting payouts, getting good service, because that's also important.
That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what year was that when you first started learning, when you found out about FTMO?
2020, I guess.
2020, okay.
Yeah.
And Zamco, what about you? When was the first time you...
Like 2021.
2021, okay. So is that when you first started trading prop firms?
No.
But you first started trading prop firms last year, right? Or just...
Sorry, I've heard about FTMO since 2019.
Okay.
Then I started trading prop firms in 2022.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, when it talks about payouts, my first 2 ever payouts that I hit, both of those firms didn't pay out because they were just my Forex funds. That was the first firm.
Oh, I had that one as well.
My first ever payout after so many failed accounts. Finally, a $900 payout. I was 3 days away from my payout date. The company seizes, like because of this some law thing or legal
I
thing.
still remember the email now.
And then my second payout, that finally after ages of failing challenges, I had a $13,000 payout. That would have been my first ever payout. Company is a scam. They post fake certificates, didn't pay me out. So again, first 2 payouts that I ever hit, they were fakes, so I didn't get paid out. And then finally in April 2023, was that last year? I don't know.
2024?
2023. That's when
Okay.
No, 2024, that's it. April 2024, that was my first ever payout, finally, which I actually received, which was like $2,000 on a 10K account. So I was 20% made.
It's really good. Really
so yeah, that when I finally got that first ever payout, that changed everything.
It must have just opened up.
Your head opens to say, wow, this is real.
What was the first thing you did when you received the payout?
I bought more accounts.
Straight away?
Yeah, straight away.
Did you use up all of that 2K?
Yeah. I used it straight away, yeah.
No celebratory, nothing.
No. I straight away bought 2 50K accounts. I was like, all right, cool. 10K is too little. I've made this much money on it.
So
now I
imagine
need to go
if you
for
had-
yeah, exactly. So then I went for 100k, 250k accounts, and then that got me paid out 10k. And I lost it all just buying accounts and failing them.
Okay.
But just about I was getting by. Like finally, when I got to like the last bit of my 10k from that payout after failing challenges, one of those challenges made me $24,000 or 21,000. I don't remember. And that's where suddenly I had this large sum of money. I know I can trade. I know I can hit payouts. And then it just skyrocketed within like 4 or 5 months of trading prop firms. After my first payout, I hit 250k in payouts. So it all changed after those first few payouts that I got. Because I don't know, it does something to your head where you think it's real now. Before there was just, it's like a fantasy. You want to get that payout, but you don't really know it's real.
You think it's too good to be true, like it's
Exactly.
actually real.
When you hit it, something changes. It's just like your body knows, it's like, oh, I can do this again. I remember the same thing when I first started trying to do a muscle up. I kept failing for I think 2 years. It took me 2 years. The moment I did my first one, whether it be with bad technique or whatever, my muscles learnt, and then suddenly I could just keep doing muscle ups. It's like, whoa, you just learn from it straight away. It's like that dopamine hit.
Muscle ups are tough.
Yeah.
How many can you do?
I used to be able to do like 8 or 10, but now I've gained a lot of weight, so I don't know.
That's impressive. Jordy, I know I see you in the gym. Are you able to do a muscle up?
Yeah,
I see you
yeah.
doing pull-ups. How many can you do?
It's I think 10. But then people just hate on you on social media. Your form's not good. And
Yeah, but you know
for
what
me,
people-
like years ago, it was 120 kilos. So for me,
wow.
doing one, I was living. I wasn't working in catering, smoking, drinking. I don't have to explain. So
Yeah.
doing one for me was just massive. I was like, I just did a muscle up.
Wow. Crazy.
Or a pull up, and I was like, a muscle up is something else, right?
So muscle up is when you do the pull up and then you
Oh
extend
yeah,
at the
yeah,
top.
yeah. So I'm talking about pull-ups. So
Okay,
for me,
okay.
pull-ups
Pull-ups
was
still
for
very
me
tough.
was a big thing. But again, it's the same with like in sports, like Kipchoge, the marathon runner.
Oh,
He
yeah.
did the first sub 2 hour marathon,
Yeah.
and suddenly because he did it,
Now
a
it's
lot of
possible.
people think it's possible. And then in trading, it's a bit different because you see a lot of people doing it, but you're like a bit skeptical. But once you really do it yourself, you're like, oh.
It's possible.
It's like you found a glitch in the matrix. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You just got an infinite money glitch. It's like because it's demo accounts, you know.
Yeah.
And then you should realize like, where's this money coming from? It's just
Yeah.
a demo account.
Yeah.
And then so then your mind really opens up. Like, okay,
Yeah, to the possibilities. Yeah, I think prop firms, I think when I first heard about them, which was a good few years ago, again, like I simply didn't believe like they were essentially real because I think the benefit, what we've been able to do for traders that haven't had access to the capital previously is immense. It's just about finding the right ones. So for you guys, what is your process to looking for a prop firm that you think, oh, I'm going to give them a try? Is it their social media? Is it their Trustpilot? Like what's the typical?
I think now, because of my social media pages, I know a lot of the influencers that also trade with different firms. So I kind of just message them. It's like, yo, how's this firm? Is it actually legit or whatever? And because if they are affiliated with that firm, they know if there is dodgy stuff going on in the background or things like that. So they know the ins and outs. So they can recommend it to me or not. So I guess that kind of helps. And also things like Prop Firm Match, that helps a lot. Like you just quickly look at the leaderboard on Prop Firm Match. You're like, all right, cool. These are the top ones. Most likely they'll pay me out. So I kind of tend to look at that as well.
Okay, nice. Jordy, what about you?
yeah, the same as I mentioned, prop firm match for me as well. And then if you know people personally that they had payouts, because they ask us as well, like, oh, you work with that firm? Oh, did they pay out? And yeah, they pay out. It's just like doing your research, like, and also what are the rules? So that's quite important as well for me, because for Zamco as well, how much can I risk? Is there a consistency rule? Is there news rules? All these things to make, I think a lot of people skip that and they just look at like what is the cheapest prop firm account. But that's something I did in the beginning and now I don't do it anymore. I don't really care about the price of the prop firm. For me, it's just like, do they pay out? I was a support as well, because there's a lot of prop firms who you have to wait. Like, I'm not going to say the name, but there was a prop firm where I worked with and I had a payout. and there was an issue and I wasn't getting any response, and I had to wait like a week and a half to get the payout or to get an answer to get the payout. So that's really struggling if is this your first time getting a payout and you have to wait that long.
The anxiety goes through the roof.
Yeah, a lot of anxiety. So and the reviews don't lie. And people that if you know people personally, it's of course
the best.
It's the best, like Martua, yeah.
Okay, nice. And in terms of so once you sign up for Prop Challenge, what's your approach? So I know we briefly touched on it. You said you risk as much as you can get away with.
Yeah.
So let's say the typical one is 5% drawdown in a day for most ones. So off the bat, if you get a challenge today, you're risking 5%.
4.5 just to
be safe for the spread. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Literally 4.5 because
aim for 2R.
Yeah, exactly. Because at this point, it's not about how much I'm going to lose if I lose the account. It's like whatever. I just need to get to the funded stage. If it costs me £1,500 after blowing through 3 accounts, like whatever, it doesn't really matter. I think also, yeah, because I've had a lot of payouts. It's like you can afford to eat into it. You can lose accounts. It doesn't really bother me anymore. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'll risk whatever you allow me to. Yeah, so because again,
makes sense. Yeah,
a lot of people they think they're a great trader because they stuck to 0.5% risk and they're going through the challenge slowly. Some guy tweeted me saying like, "Oh, you passed in one trade." Yeah, okay. I'm on day 13 on FTMO. Look, I'm slowly building up, and I'm just thinking, those 13 days, you're not funded. I'm already funded in one day. You're wasting time. I'm making money. Mm-hmm. You're wasting time in the challenge phases trying to go for it slowly. You need to get to the point where you can make money.
So question, so has that always been your approach to the challenge, or was it in the beginning when you last year when you were trading them, did you first have to get a few payouts before you could see, okay, this is real, now I'm going to max it out sort of thing?
It was more, yeah. So I would do 0.5% risk or 1% risk, trying to pass slowly through the challenges. Most of the time, it didn't work because you just stay in drawdown for so long and building up is so slow. But finally, when I did hit the few payouts, doing that very, very slowly, finally I got lucky and just hit some payouts. Then it kind of opened my eyes to having a bunch of money that you can afford to lose. And then thinking, oh, well, if I risk much more, I can get to that funded very quickly. When I started doing that, suddenly I'm passing so many accounts. That's why a lot of people on Twitter are confused. Like, bro, I was passing every single day at a different firm. It's because I'm risking so much and I can afford to lose the accounts if I blow it. And then you want to ask me the question, how many I've blown? Probably over £80,000 worth of accounts I've blown. But in the end of it, I know it's going to work out because I know my strategy works and I can afford the risk. And at the end of the day, it works out in my favor.
Yeah, that does make sense, to be fair. Jordy, what about you then? How do you approach challenges?
I'm doing the same thing as him.
Okay.
Also, a couple of months ago, I just had one trade with 2% risk. So it's a bit lower risk. And then you pass 3 funded challenges at phase ones. But then for me, the downfall is just taking that much risk and just blowing all these accounts. For me, it doesn't fit my style, but I understand the business part of it. If you just look at trading as a business and you actually see these prop firms, and so how I usually deal with it is you buy 3 or 5 accounts, you just trade them with a bit more risk separately, and then I'll pass 3 of them, for example, and then I'll trade those 3 phase 2s, and I'll just pass 1 or 2 of them, and they'll get a nice payout, and then you recycle them by accounts again. So that's something I used to do, but not as aggressive as Zamco, but I totally understand if you're doing that. But I had some issues doing that really aggressively. And then, but of course, maybe if I kept going on that aggressive street, it could have been also getting those bigger payouts. But then I just realized it's a bit too aggressive for me, but I totally understand. It's the same, you treat it as a business, but I have a different risk profile as Zamco. And then I think you have to really understand how much a lot of beginning traders are not going to take 3%, 4%, lose the account in 2 trades or 1 trade. But if you have some capital, it's something I do as well, but a bit less risky. Yeah.
Okay. And if we go a little bit back to when you first passed your first challenge, when you were officially funded, were you scared about taking trades?
in the beginning for me, it was taking 0.5% trades.
Just to be safe.
Just get 1K, just get that refund of the account again. And then in the end, I tried different things, trading them all together, the fundeds. So getting multiple fundeds, then you start trading them together. Then I found out, if I have a losing streak, that's something I'm still learning today. If you manage, so it's, I want to ask Zamco later how he manages his accounts. I think that's a great question. But I think if I trade them all at once, for me, that's a bit high risk. So I just tend to take a bit more risk on each account separately.
Okay.
And I used to combine them, but if I have a losing streak, I just don't want to give all those funded accounts back again. And now I'm going to cycle them again. Just get a payout, trade the next account, get a payout, get a next account. But I'm quite curious about Zamco, how he does it.
Yeah, I'd like to know as well. Like, how do you balance risk across your different accounts? Do you take the same one on all of them, or do you do one by one?
I tend to trade them in batches. I trade my funded accounts in batches, where some have hit TP, cool. They're waiting for payouts. I've left them. The ones that are in drawdown, trade them together. The ones that are break even, I'll add, like, whatever the accounts, like the ones that are in profit, I kind of leave them. The ones that need to be traded, I trade them.
Okay.
I typically don't trade all of them at once. No, never. It's more just small batches of accounts that need to be traded.
Okay, that makes sense.
That doesn't work. I tried it. Don't do it. Yeah, it's really hard because it's all your funding. And you think, I'm going to copy trade this on all the accounts. Actually, not all firms like that you copy trade and you can violate it. So that's the thing. But I was copy trade. And then if you have a losing streak, like 2-3 trades, it's really, you start to realize, all my funded accounts
are
in
putting more pressure on yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, just having some accounts with payouts secured, that's the best way. And I used to do that. And then it really, you keep in that flow, like you get the rewards, help you stay in the process. But so it's, I think that's the best advice, to not trade them all at once.
Okay, nice. All right, quick question. What is you guys' biggest payout ever?
It's with you guys, for me. 20K. Yeah, it's somehow 20K, 19 point something. Yeah.
Basically 20K. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And when you received it, how did you feel?
I was very scared. Like, it was was it my first with you guys? I think it was my second or my third. So, but still, it's my biggest one. So I'm like, is this gonna work? Are these big payouts getting paid out? And I was really anxious. Like, am I gonna get this? Are they gonna flag me for something? So it's just, I was just waiting for it, and then you just go to Rise and you just see that money coming in, and you're like,
a good feeling.
Did I really just get 20? Just it's a year.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. It feels so insane because I usually aim for small payouts like 3K, 5K, just cycle. And this was the first. It was also with some crypto trades, so it really boomed, and I was like, okay. But I couldn't believe it. Because you see a lot of payouts again. I also had the same as him, having a lot of payouts with these HFT firms. I'm not sure if you know that you can pass with an HFT bot.
Oh, I'm not familiar then. No.
Yeah. Do you know them? I don't know. Sure.
I've never traded with them.
HFT, so you have HFT
high frequency
trading.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very scammy firms because I have an HFT bot and you can just pass the account with the bot and you don't have to do anything. So they allow it, but then the rules on the funded are like crazy. It's very hard to get a payout. And I think like, I'm not going to mention the name of the firm, but I don't think they still exist. But I was getting payouts and they constantly denied it. So always a new rule, like you open 2 trades just within 5 minutes of each other, and think like also 10K once, 5K once, 3K, just every time getting to that payout. And then I just realized the HFT firms are just something to stay away from. But there might be some that pay out, but really sketchy. So I had this trauma of also not getting payouts. So if you see that 20K payout, like it's a bit anxious, you know?
Yeah. Well, how did you celebrate?
I gifted myself something small, I think. I always tend to celebrate small, like go to dinner, buy a little gift for myself, a nice pair of sneakers, or with the big payout, I think I just bought some new accounts, basically, because I already had a lot of payouts. So for me, it wasn't new, but I just bought some nice sneakers, I think, and went to dinner, something like that, yeah. Nice. I don't want to waste the money, of course. I invested it in crypto again, and then... I lost it there. No.
I was gonna say.
No, but something like that. Okay. Dinner and some sneakers, something like that, I think. Yeah.
Nice. And Zamco, I know you mentioned 150K?
That's how much has been made this month.
Is that your
Not
biggest
obvious.
month?
It's my first of 6-figure month. My biggest month so far.
Congrats.
Thank you. And in terms of payouts, my biggest one is 50K on its own, one big payout. Now, obviously, my top step account is 100K up, but I have to withdraw that in batches. So I don't know which one you want to count, but I've had 2 50K payouts. Then I had lots of like 20Ks, 20Ks, 30Ks, 20Ks, 5Ks, 10Ks. I've just,
Yeah. Wow.
But 50K in one go, yes, that was my biggest payout.
I guess that must have felt good as well. Or you were used to it, but now it's the euphoria is gone.
Yeah, it was at a point where I've already had like 20Ks, 10Ks. So
okay.
I was used to it. Yeah, it really didn't feel that different. And in terms of celebration, there wasn't. I don't really celebrate myself much. It's more, I need to make more money. I got the payout, big payout. All right, cool. Buy more accounts. It just kind of just goes right back into it, buy more accounts.
What are you trying to get to? Out of curiosity, in terms of funding, how much you want? Because currently you're 7-figure funded, right?
Yeah, I'm at like 1.8 or something.
So what are you after?
I'm not
just as much as
I can do. Whatever the firms allow me. So wherever there's good firms, I'll try. Okay, that firm's good. Let me get funded with them. There's no actual number in my head where I want this much funding. It's more
just keep going.
Just keep going. How much more can I make? I think in terms of celebration, the only thing I have done with my big payout was I bought my AMG. That's about it. But that was mainly just for fun. It wasn't really a celebration. It was more I can buy it rather than I want to.
Okay, listen, 7-figure funded. I think that's everyone's goal. And it took you a year, right, to get.
That's actually crazy. That's mad crazy. Respectful. I think there's honestly not many people like you that short of time. I think you're very unique in that.
I guess so.
His ego is getting brushed right now. It's like,
but like, it's funny because now I'm so used to it. In February, I lost pretty much all of my funding. I was on like 1.2 million. I lost it
February.
All. In February.
As in
this year.
This February that just went.
This year, I had 0 payouts in February. I lost all of my funding, and within a month and a bit, I'm back up to like 1.5 million.
What?
So it's like now I have the skill set. Even if I lose it all, I know I can do it again.
Damn, that is crazy. So in a few, what's that? March, April, so basically 2.5 months. 1 point. Wow, that's immense. Fair play, man. Listen, you've got the skills clearly. 6. So okay, let's give some advice to the up and coming trader that is currently struggling with prop firm challenges. Let's say one piece of advice you'd give them that you think could help really change the game for them, that you experience yourself. Jordy, starting with you.
I think people care too much about a funded account.
Okay.
So
don't put too much pressure on that.
Don't put that funded account on a pedestal.
Okay.
Because a lot of people think like this is the main thing they aim for. So don't just look at like, I need to get to that funded stage. Just look at it as a tool. It's just a small tool and you can buy another one. It's no big deal if you fail the account. Just look at it as a business and if you know what you're doing. But a lot of people are not doing the process or not focused on the process and they just want to have the result. And having that funded account is a goal for a lot of young people as well. And I think just putting it so high on a pedestal is just going to be the reason why a lot of people who get funded for the first time or get their certificates, they get this dopamine rush, and that's the reason they're going to lose it because they're becoming overconfident. And I think just like I admire Zamco for that, how he said it, like these payouts 20K, 30K, 50K, they don't really do me anything. I don't celebrate anymore. I think that's the mindset that you should have. If you just like, if you get funded, you're still a nobody. You're still, it doesn't matter. You're not suddenly a god or, and I think that's really cool how humble he is. And I think for me as well, I don't celebrate like crazy, but I just want to give myself something. But like trying to stay humble even after a big payout, it's difficult. But I think that's the key. And for beginners, staying humble when you get that funded account is just, it's nothing. It's a demo account. Just treat it as like it. And if you get payouts from it, nice. I think that's my advice.
Nice. Zamco?
I would say I have 2 advices for new traders. For one, it's people get really hooked on a strategy, and like this strategy has to like work, and it's just one strategy, and that, but they don't realize that one strategy goes through wins and losses. My strategy in February didn't do anything. I lost everything. But did I change it? No, I just adapted it. So a lot of people are fixed on sticking to one strategy, but not adjusting to different market conditions. They just keep trying that one strategy, but it doesn't work that way. Now this is the other point, which is they need to understand why. So what I mean by that is, why does the market move? When you start understanding that, then you can start refining your strategy. And the way to understand why, I think a really, really helpful piece of advice for new traders is to keep looking to the left at key points of reversals. Wherever you get stopped out, and then finally price reverses and continues in the direction you're anticipating, where that reversal happened, look to the left. What was there? I don't think people tend to do that. They just look, oh, I lost and it reversed without me. Okay, why did it reverse from there? So I think it's very, very key. Keep looking at key reversal points. Look to the left. Where did it reverse? Why did it reverse from there? And then you start building a picture of, this is what that candle looks like. This is what that fair value gap looks like. This is where it tends to reverse. Then that's what you kind of look out for.
Okay. Out of curiosity, do you journal?
No.
Have you ever journaled?
I tried like for 2 days, and then I was like, this is long. Couldn't be asked.
Okay. Do you backtest?
Not anymore, no.
So okay.
It's more, I just try out my ideas in the real
Forward
market.
test.
Yeah. Just whatever.
Live in the market.
Yeah. So I think this might work. All right, cool. Let me just try on my funded account. Why not?
But you actively analyze. So what it sounds like is you like journal, but in your head sort of thing.
Yeah. So like I said, it's like after the 7 years experience,
You just have everything
it's there. I can look at it and be like, I've seen this before. I don't really need to. It's more just you have that feeling now because you've seen it so many times.
Yeah, intuition. Mm-hmm. Jordy, do you journal?
Yeah, I'm a bit different in that one. Mostly psychologically, I journal. So when I have, well, if you take a stop loss, you probably most of the time know what kind of thing was against your trade. So usually there's once in a while there's a trade that you don't really know what happened, but most of the time, 90%, if you've been trading for more than 5-6 years, you know what went wrong in your strategy. It's usually the points where I'm not performing as well, and I just notice that I'm making mistakes, not technically, but closing early, stuff like that. For me, there's value in journaling there, because I used to work with a psychologist, Koen, that's been here as well, and I think it's really of value that I'm in these periods of time. There are some things happening, maybe some more stress and stuff like that. So I made some decisions, and I really want to journal, get my thoughts out of there. Just like, why am I doing this? Why am I not following my plan? And it gave me some interesting points. Like last month, I took a lot of losses. I recovered from it, but I was closing positions way too early for no reason. And it happens to all of us. Of course, there are some external things that you close a position, but why did I not trust myself? Why did I not trust my plan? Mm-hmm. What was the main factor there? It was not technical. So that's the things because I think technically you just plateau real quickly, and the psychological stuff, you can break through a lot of plateaus. So try to find myself, okay, once you get to that point of funding, is there some new levels? And for me, last month, I was just getting like trauma triggers of being in drawdown and then closing positions way too early. So what's happening? Because I'm in a drawdown, suddenly I'm not trusting myself anymore, mm-hmm. which is stupid, because you've been there, you've done it, but mm-hmm. still I did it. So it can happen once or twice, but just being very self-aware, checking in with yourself during trading, I think that's quite an important one for me, or where I can still grow the most. So that's something, I don't do it daily, I should do it daily, but once I had a period where I lost a lot, I tried to check in with myself. Okay, what was I thinking? Was I under, what was the reason that I'm not executing my edge perfectly? So there's probably something psychologically playing that I need to figure out to grow and scale my funding.
Mm-hmm. Spot on. Nice. And I actually wanted to ask you guys another question. Are you going to be trading prop firms for life? Or are you ever going to go back to personal capital? Or are you just going to balance both? Floor's open to...
I'll go, sure. I've said this a lot. I don't like trading, for one. I don't enjoy it. I only do it for the money. it's
You don't like it at all?
no, I don't really enjoy
Really?
it. It is stressful, even
For
though
sure.
it's easy, but it's, again, I'm glued to my phone. I can't enjoy things in life because I'm glued to my phone. And it's a bit sad because when I'm with my wife, we could be doing something really nice.
But your head's
I'm just on
somewhere
my
else.
phone. Yeah, my head's never present. I'm never present. So I don't like that aspect of my life, and I want to change that. And so I want to build as much money as I can from prop firms and then use that to get into more passive things like real estate and more passive sources of businesses so that I don't have to trade. So I'm trying to do what I can to move
That's
away
really
from prop
interesting.
firms. If I do, that part of me that still wants to trade, I'll probably look into just long swing trading, like place a position for the whole month or something, because I know how to position myself in the market, but I don't want to trade.
That is really, yeah. You're very interesting. So you're looking for the exit essentially of trading.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn. Jordy?
Yeah, for me it's different. I'm an addict.
Addict.
Yeah, it's just really love the thing about trading, like growing and then just going through the charts. And then I don't backtest anymore, but just looking at different charts, making analysis. It's just something I really like to do, being behind the
Fun.
computer. But of course, I already swing trade, so it's a bit different. I'm not constantly on the phone. So for me, it stays a bit more fun, which I understand if, like Zamco, he's on his phone all the time. Of course, you don't want to be. So for me, going on, it would be prop firms, of course, and then potentially maybe go into a hedge fund or trade my own capital. Because for me, this is like, once you know what you want to do and then you really enjoy doing that, I'm not going to, maybe I'll quit one day and get more passive stuff, of course. That's the things that I'm working on as well. Just invest money, that's the thing. But for now, I'm also trying to get more incomes, just not being reliable on trading all the time. And then I think that's a thing that I want to grow in. And prop firms is just one of the money flows, where you want to create more stuff like, houses and stuff like that, or real estate, and just trying to find out how I can make money with AI, and then I quit trading.
Yeah, you know what? AI is going to definitely take over a lot of industries, and it's going to be interesting to see, because it's already impacting the trading industry, but it's going to be interesting to see just how it changes the game in general. Because I feel like obviously we have bots and stuff, but I feel like we haven't. I'd be curious to know what you guys think, but do you think AI could eventually take over the way the market moves, the way the traders trade? What do you think? Do you think AI can impact it in a completely different way?
I think give it enough time, and how better AI is getting, if it can learn the way I learned, then why not? If AI is as intelligent as people think it can be, then absolutely it could learn what my 7 years of learning. I'm not that smart, so I learn over time from experience. If it can keep experiencing that, it can find that pattern and do it itself. So I think it could take over, yeah. But there would obviously be that tiny little element where it can't do what a human can. But I think overall it could still be very profitable.
Yeah, because there is going to be an AI funded trader, surely. Imagine that, like someone creates an AI bot and he just does everything and he just reaps the rewards of the. That's actually mad, to be fair. Sweet gents. For today's episode, I actually wanted to do a little hot seat. So just asking you guys just a question to pick one or the other. Try not to think too much into it. Just say what the first thing that comes to mind. And yeah, I'll just open the floor. So, would you rather have 100k in funding or 30k in personal to trade with?
Funding.
Yeah, funding. Definitely.
Would you rather have perfect entries or perfect exits?
Perfect exits.
Exits. I can get the entries. I fail to exit all the time. Like today, I could have exited. I didn't. That was my fault.
Okay. Only trade one pair for the rest of your life, or you have to trade 8 pairs for the rest of your life?
I think 8. I already trade 6, so...
Trade 6?
Yeah. I main 3 of them, but I do have 6 pairs on my list that I look into. So I think 8 is fine.
Okay.
Doesn't mean I have to trade all of them all the time, but I have my batches, yeah.
Okay. A high win rate with a low R to R, or a low win rate?
High win
with
rate.
a high. Is it
Win
high?
rate, yeah.
A low win rate.
Okay.
Oh, really?
I lose a lot, but I win big.
Okay. Only trade on Mondays or only trade on Fridays?
Mondays.
Mondays.
Fridays are my worst.
Okay. Only take one trade a month, or you have to take 3 trades a day.
Already
3 trades a day.
3 trades a day.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We're addicts.
Only trade London Open or only trade New York Open?
London.
London Open.
London. Never use a stop loss again, or risk 10% on every single trade.
I pretty much do that, so why not? Yeah, 10% every trade.
No stop loss for me then.
Yeah, no stop loss.
And last question. If you were offered
No,
250k today, would you quit trading forever?
No.
Okay, I'm going to increase the number. If someone
It's not
offered
big
you
enough.
$1 million today, would you quit trading forever?
No.
No, I'm already about to make that.
Okay, I'm going to go up again. If someone offered you $5 million today, are you quit trading forever?
No.
No?
No, it's not high enough. Maybe 100 million.
God damn.
Yeah, maybe at that point, yeah.
Yeah.
Then definitely.
50?
Yeah, probably
50,
50.
yeah. Probably 50
20?
million.
20, you know what? Yeah.
20.
I think 20.
10?
That's
pushing it.
You can burn that money quickly, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so 20.
I think around 20 million, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so I think that was a little fun exercise. Yeah, I think that's actually a great way to wrap up today's episode. So, gents, I just wanted to give a quick thank you to you both for coming on and giving like an immense amount of value in this episode. I think the audience will definitely learn a lot from today's great discussion. So, on behalf of them and, of course, Bright Funded, we're super grateful for your time and energy in making this a banger, because I know this is going to be taken very, very well. And for those that tuned in at home, thank you very much for watching. As I mentioned, Zamco and Jordy dropped a ton of gems today. So be sure to take all of their wisdom and apply it for yourself. Please like, subscribe and comment, and stay tuned for the future episodes we have. I'll be sure to pop their socials up here, so give them a follow, and remember to stay disciplined on the charts. Peace.